Tuesday, March 9th. And back with this old background here, the Maggieism. You can do anything, no matter how high, low, easy, or hard. A little bit of an interesting stacking of what you can do, again, referencing what type of difficulties you might have, or maybe it's simple, but just know anything's possible. And that came from, I think, a 10-year-old who wrote that, and that's what I'm hopefully instilling in everybody I talk with, that they feel like it's possible to accomplish stuff. And why do I talk about that right now? Well, let's get into the market. There's some interesting stuff going on out there, and today being March 9th marks a really pivotal thing. If you look back here, March 9th is where the start of all this mess 1 year ago. That's where the major sell-off in the mortgage-backed security started with the banks. Look at these gap downs, all this craziness that went on. And when we got all the way to the bottom, then the Federal Reserve started kicking in that $1 trillion to go from March 20th to March 30th to get this all settled out. So that's where we got that window of time. That 10 days was an enormously long 10 days, let me tell you. During that time, we had the window for rates were down all over the place in here. We had no idea where it was going to go. We were down to the lowest points we had seen in a long time as far as mortgage-backed securities are concerned. Right here, at this point, we're locking a lot of people in the low fours, like 4.25, something like that, 4 3/8, and they were excited about it. And then the market freaked out, and I couldn't get those rates. We jumped clear up into the sixes, and it's actually even higher than it should have been, because here it was in the high fours in this particular situation here. But we're going up into the sixes, even though we are very similar in the market at that time because of the uncertainty. A lot of freaking out going on at that time because of that. When they were pricing these mortgage-backed securities for us to be able to release those for loans, they were padding the hell out of them because they weren't sure what to do. Now, there were small windows there that I was able to continue every hour. I was running these rates. Actually, probably more often than that, 2 or 3 times an hour. I was taking a scenario and running it through and see if I can get a good price on it. If I got a good price on it, that means the market was open. And what I was doing is I was locking blocks like 30 and 40 and 50 loans. I was calling multiple people. We're getting on the phone together. I was on the phone with my lock desk, and we were just locking blocks until that opportunity stopped. And when it stopped and they jumped those rates back up, we stopped for the day. But we were still locking lots of deals during this window of time. And then it started to settle in. Now, the pricing still didn't settle into these low rates that we had seen for a little while. It at least got it back into the fours, to where, somewhere in the fours was feeling good. Till we started getting even more euphoric. Then we got down into those mid threes, which was crazy right in here. Then we get to where we are today. High threes, low fours. That's where we're at. So what it really boils down to is we went, if you just took this last year out and sectioned this completely out of here and moved that over, we would literally be kind of back in this range where we were before. The last 12 months would have been sectioned out, this madness that happened with COVID, and we'd be kind of on the same trend. Now, I'm going to take a stab at this because it's a 50-50 shot. I have no data to back up this thought process. I have no information to be able to say this is what's going to happen. This is just, hey, I can flip a coin right now and I can be right and I can be wrong, right? That's kind of the way the market is at the moment. It's not a matter of fundamentals anymore. There's a lot of things in there that nothing has ever taught me what I should anticipate with this. But since things like to follow trends, and we take this anomaly of the last 12 months out, section it out and set it aside, and then scoot that over, maybe we go on a slow, gradual improvement, therefore a very slow, gradual improvement of interest rates. We have already seen what it's like to have interest rates for investors with 20% down, 740 plus credit score in the mid to high threes. Not a bad situation, not something that's unheard of now. Since we've seen it, we've touched it, we felt it, the potential to get there again is possible. That's what's kind of like going back to, when they were trying to break a 4-minute mile. Nobody could ever break a 4-minute mile. They thought it was impossible until somebody did. Then all of a sudden, everybody's breaking the 4-minute mile, right? Once it's heard of, once it's been done, it's doable again. So we've done it. I don't see why we may not do it one more time or several times in the future. I can't say for certain. Everything was an anomaly here. These last 12 months was something that was never expected, never anticipated. The market reacted very negatively to it, and then it settled back in. but also with a massive amount of help for the Federal Reserve. Talking trillions of dollars being dumped in there from the 20th of March last year to the 30th of March last year, over $1 trillion. Absolutely crazy. I don't know how to quantify what that is. So I'm just thinking right now that I'm going to look at this from a positive side, that we're probably going to follow the current trend or the current channel, possibly go a little bit above that. But it's hard to say. A lot of the trend lines are pointing downward. If you look at what we were looking at there, I'll share that screen again. All these trend lines are pointing down. So when you're looking at that, every trend line is forming, going downward. When things start to slide down, they continue to slide down. But you also have, sometimes you have abrupt movement up, as what we had here, trend lines going downward, right? Then we found their abrupt movement up, and that was all natural market movement. Then we get in here where it was influenced by the Fed. So with Fed's influence and continued influence, potentially traders going in there for a little bit more of, I guess, some stationary return in a very volatile market. Kind of hard to see how things are going to go. But I want to at least point this out. This marks 1 year of that mess. And now we're going to see how the next year goes forward. And let's hope that 2021 has some sort of, at least we at this as our kind of our starting point, right? See where the market takes us. And hopefully it's something that's a little bit more predictable. We'll talk to you guys on Friday.